Good morning. It's 22 degrees Celsius here in the city of Kingston. There's an 85% chance of showers, so bring an umbrella as you get ready to leave out. Welcome back, Sunrisers. The time is also 17 minutes after 6, which means, Teeks, good morning.
It's my time.
How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen.
How are you?
So I'm fantastic. And I'm excited about the rain. Hopefully we don't get too much that it causes any damage, but enough that it brings some nice waters to our reservoirs.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially the reservoirs.
Especially the reservoirs.
Reservoirs.
So let's jump into the headlines, shall we?
All right.
All right, let's talk about what's happening in the headlines in the news. So blood shortage hits Western region, urgent need for donors. So the Western Health Regional Authority, which comprises St. James, Westmoreland, Trelawney, and Hanover, is urging donors, especially those with O positive or universal blood types, to come forward. The pressing need includes all blood types. Clinical coordinator of WRHA, Dr. Delroy Frey, says the shortage could jeopardize the care and treatment of patients in need of life-saving transfusions. He stressed that patients battling illnesses like anemia or undergoing chemotherapy are most impacted. A donor generally contributes 1 pint or 450 milliliters of blood, but despite daily usage fluctuations, the demand is not being met. The National Blood Transfusion Service warned about the effects violent incidents can have on blood availability. When comparing data from January to April 2024 of this year, with the same period last year, shooting incidents have gone up in Westmoreland, St. James, and Hanover, which means, of course, there is an increased demand for this.
Yeah, definitely. I was once the conversation started, that's where my mind went.
I was racing to violence, but then I saw that the most impacted is anemia and chemotherapy.
I mean. But the challenge, because you're right, the violence places the greatest demand on it, and
immediate demand
for the people, for other people. And I mean, I did an interview some years ago looking at just that issue. And that's why I became a blood donor, because I have O positive, and so, you know, I can give to anybody. And, you know, I remember being shown the fridge, and like they're saying, this is all we have. And it was like almost nothing there. We have little bit of O, we have little bit of this, and we have none of that, none of that, none of that. And I thought to myself, so what happens if a woman comes and she's going into labor and she's having a rough pregnancy and she needs blood? And they say, well, let's hope she has this blood, because that's what we have for that. And if a gunman gets shot and come into the hospital and that's an emergency, anything else gets put to the side and that gunman gets treated first. Because, you know, the Hippocratic Oath, and it's an emergency situation. And so, like, even you think of the silent cost of violence or the silent cost of recklessness. So, for instance, we don't think about
like accidents.
Accidents. You drive bad, you get into a bad accident because of speeding or bad judgment or whatever. You're demanding blood. Somebody who was about to go into surgery, sorry.
It's
go
now
to one
reallocated.
side. No,
reallocated to that person. And you know what's interesting is that blood is so needed and blood is free to give. It's a pity that we don't have such a culture of being blood donors. Because like you, it was just when maybe a friend of mine, usually what happens at the ads, what happens when somebody really needs the blood, you have to call for people now and say, can people please go and donate on behalf of this person? And that's what really brought my attention to the cause.
Our culture to do so, because you know, when the first time I was becoming a father, I was told that you have to give blood. You know, for the expectant mother, your expectant child's mother. But you know, when I think about it, I'm saying, whoa, listen, if the shortage is affecting those persons who are, you know, with fatal terminal illnesses like cancer, it's worrying. And because it is free, as you've said, you are encouraged, you who are watching are encouraged to donate if you're healthy to do so, because it sometimes might affect someone in your own family.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And you know, we have to also say kudos to those people who have the blood drives. There are some people who really make
Regularly.
it, have regular blood drives. Support.
She regularly has a blood
Support,
yes, that's
support
true.
the blood
It's
drive
kitty.
and go and just give it. And I know a lot of people say, boy, me not like the needle and
yes.
stick thing, you
Yeah.
know,
I
it's
used to be
really
like
not,
that, you know, it's nothing.
me too, it's
nothing.
really
Just
not
go and give-
painful.
And what happens is, a friend of mine was doing a surgery, and she asked me to go and give blood. At the time, for one reason or another, I was not able to give blood that day. And I said, I just called and said, take some out of my account.
You can do that.
It's literally, you go, every time you go, them write up.
Yeah.
So I said, I just called and said, and they wrote up a receipt in the name of this person to take some out of my account.
Come people, let's give some blood today.
Well,
Come on.
incentivize some
Let's do
persons to
it.
give
Let's
some
do
blood.
it for the sake of Jamaicans all over the island, right?
Yeah.
All right, so next up, $3 million worth of curry seized in Mandeville, woman arrested. A Chinese woman who operates a supermarket in central Jamaica is expected to face the court soon after she was arrested yesterday for allegedly counterfeiting a local curry powder brand. The police have arrested and are looking to charge a Chinese national for breaches of the Trademark Act after allegedly $3.2 million worth of counterfeit curry was seized at her Mandeville supermarket on Wednesday. Head of the Intellectual Property Rights Unit in the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch, CTOC, Deputy Superintendent Victor Barrett underscores the far-reaching consequences of this stash of counterfeit goods, warning that its impact extends far beyond health hazards to potentially tarnishing the reputation of a respected local brand indefinitely. The Trademark Act says if convicted in the parish court, the offender could be fined up to $1 million and/or a year in prison.
Yes, I know Jamaicans love curry. You know, and I wouldn't want to be asking now, is the real thing? Is the counterfeit thing? You know, it's really unfortunate to hear that. You know, and I'm sure that the investigations, I'm hoping that the investigations will be successful.
Well, what I would say is DSP Barrett is hard-working in this particular area of protecting intellectual property. Now, when I've seen when the JCF posts videos of him on operations and he's explaining why it was important to seize these fake Crocs and Louis Vuitton purses and whatever, that people in the comments berate him, like they cuss him and fight out this fight out that, and they don't see how
The bigger picture.
the bigger picture, how counterfeit products affect Jamaica's brand reputation globally, because it's now seen as an area where you can go and dump substandard products in the name of somebody else. But just think about, you go eat some curry and you have a bad experience.
Yes.
You have a bad experience and you say, I don't eat curry anymore, or I don't eat that brand curry anymore.
And that brand had nothing to do with that particular batch of curry.
And then you spread the word, and now it eventually becomes a thing. And how does the brand say, I never will, you know?
Yeah.
No.
I like the fact that there's increased activity with protecting intellectual property rights, because I can relate to that. You know what I mean?
And as a creative.
Yes.
Well, let's see what happens. Of course, it's going to the court, so let's see what happens. So, before I go, though, Sunrise community, this is your final day to catch the last phrase for the week. Remember to make sure you're watching and paying special attention this morning, because you'll see a clue pop up with a special clue on Friday, which is coming up. We'll be calling 2 lucky Sunrisers with a chance to win. If you can give us the full phrase from the clues that have been given this week, then $25,000 cash will be yours. But of course, you know, you must be a part of the Sunrisers community, so go to our social media pages and click the link in our bio now. And if you're not on social media, you can send us a WhatsApp message. Let's give you the number again. It's 876-833-0897.
Rise.
Show me the money. Show me the money.
Remember, rise. That's a clue. It's in there. It's time for a break. When we return, we'll trade in the news desk for a bit of foreign exchange with Miss Pearly Grandson, MPG, when we get back.